Hooray, we're live. Welcome people across Facebook, LinkedIn and YouTube. So in this final Digital Marketing Teardown session of 2020, we're very, very lucky to be joined by Anna from the PPC team.
Hi, I'm very happy to be here.
So Anna is going to be giving us some specific feedback around PPC. So we're going to make the most of this opportunity and focus a lot of the teardown stuff that we're looking at today on PPC, because Anna is a PPC savage. But of course, good savage, Anna, don't worry, not like, yeah. But of course, you're also welcome to drop your website into the chat window. We can see like a chat feed of all of the channels. So if you've got a website that you'd like us to take a look at, then please do submit it in the chat window. Remember the rules. I think for YouTube, it doesn't like it if you just paste the URL. So you've got to put Exposure Ninja and then a space .com instead of exposureninja.com. Otherwise, it'll think that you're trying to spam us, and it'll make your chat invisible. So yeah, just type your website in there, and particularly if you're running any PPC, then drop it in there. If you've got a competitor that's running PPC and you want to see exactly what they're doing, then use this opportunity to pick Anna's brain and get some insight on what they're doing and what you could learn from it. We're also, very briefly at the start, we're going to take a bit of a look at some of the highlights of 2020's digital marketing. We've got a few websites lined up for you, a few businesses that we've been following and that we've liked the look of what they've been doing in 2020. So we thought we'd share some of them. Hey, Liesl. Yes, final one of the year. We'll be back in 2021. So good morning, Bethlehem. Let us know where you're watching in from as well. Drop us a message in the chat. Anna, how's this year been for you?
Very good so far.
Very good.
Considering, obviously.
Yeah.
Considering the circumstances. Yeah.
Well, sure, but I think, potentially PPC has been one of the winners maybe of the whole thing, as we've seen, businesses flood online and not have the time to get established with organic visibility. Like, what have you seen with kind of PPC trends over the year?
Yeah, there has been a very fast bounce back after COVID because businesses have gone quiet for a few months, but then they came back stronger than ever with very aggressive PPC techniques. And it was fun to watch all the different strategies from businesses trying to impersonate their competitors or those sorts of things on Google Ads.
Yeah. No, so would you say that like on average CPCs are going up? Are people having to spend more for their traffic? Are things getting more competitive?
Yeah, I think they have gone down with their budgets at the beginning of the COVID season, but then they have increased the budget even more.
Cool. And we're going to be looking at some pretty competitive spaces today. So whether you're sitting in chilly Manchester or you're in Ethiopia or Taiwan, probably not so chilly, then buckle up and enjoy. Don't forget, also, for those that are still trickling in, you can submit your own website for us to have a review. We've got Anna from the PPC team, who's an absolute PPC legend. So take this opportunity to get someone like Anna, like brainstorming on your site. If you want us to have a look at your competitors, then you can submit them as well. So I'm going to share screen and we're going to go through some of our few of our highlights of 2020 so far. And Anna's been having a look into some of these as well. For those who follow Exposure Ninja, you know that we're a big fan of the Hut Group and their various brands, and it's been a massive year for them as well, going public and all the kind of attention and stuff that they've brought from that. Look Fantastic is one of their, I guess, better known brands, kind of beauty and beauty e-commerce store, really. Very competitive space, obviously very, very competitive. Anna, when you're looking at a business that wants to compete in something like beauty, a lot of businesses would kind of look at competition like Look Fantastic and think, there's just no way we can compete. If you had to compete against someone like Look Fantastic, What would be some of the considerations that you'd be bringing to that strategy?
Well, I will focus a lot on the image of the brand, on the design of the website. To start with, I would have a very well-built website, and the website doesn't need to be super creative, because for e-commerce websites, we are looking for them to be as standard as possible. You want to know where to find the basket or where to sign to log in into the account. We want to have a well categorized menu bar with all the different products and categories. And I think that to compete, it's very important that if you're going to bid from PPC on all your different product and brand keywords, you need to have a very big investment, because you're going to be competing against those specific brands too. So a big investment is a good start for a brand like this.
So would you look at focusing on particular product categories, or, focus? Because obviously, if we look at Look Fantastic's total spend, they're probably spending, I don't know, hundreds of thousands a month, possibly millions a month on PPC. And as a startup or a challenger brand, you're not going to be able to beat that. So would you pick like one of these categories or particular section of product and put all of your attention in there, or would you try and spread it thin across everything?
No, I would pick a very specific set of products, maybe the most profitable ones. And that obviously considering if I don't have the budget of a website like Look Fantastic. If I have a reduced budget, I would focus on the most profitable products.
Cool. Makes a lot of sense. And I think what we're seeing with a lot of businesses like Look Fantastic is that the offers and the discounts they're giving on the front end show that they're happy to break even or even go negative on the first sale. So you need to have a solid back end, and you need to have all of that type of stuff, don't you? So okay, so let's have a look at their ads then. First of all, we're going to have a look at their US visibility and actually compare that to their UK. So what we're looking at here is ads through Google search. So this is Google ads, text ads at the moment. Anna, you can see here, I mean, the SEMrush data is not going to be 100% accurate, but you can see a massive ramp up of their PPC spend towards the end of this year. So SEMrush is estimating that in July they were spending $53,000 a month. By November, they were spending $633,000 a month. This is massive rapid scale, and obviously that brings some risk with it, because you could be scaling inefficiency. Is this the sort of thing that, I mean, this isn't the sort of speed of scale that we suggest for our clients? What are some of the things that people have to be mindful of when they're scaling an ad budget like this?
Well, first of all, I think that the big scale on the budget and on the traffic that we are seeing for the last year has much to do with COVID, because for e-commerce businesses, it was like a big boom in the sales and on traffic, and obviously then on PPC spend, because they are competing also against other brands that also sell their products online. So this is a very big scale during the last few months. And for a regular business, I would maybe recommend starting with a mid budget to test mostly all the different strategies and to test different keywords, and then setting the ideal budget that we would recommend for the campaign. So we usually estimate like 3 different types of budgets when we review a new business. So we have the lowest possible one, the middle one, and a high budget to get better results. So I would always recommend starting with like an average budget.
And then in terms of like scaling that budget every month, if you're getting ROI or if you're seeing results that you're happy with, is there any kind of, what sort of percentage increase would you suggest monthly so that you're not kind of blowing things out and scaling that inefficiency, but you're still growing the campaign and you're still, keeping things moving and increasing.
Yeah. Well, I have seen for our clients that when the CPA is good and when the return on investment is also good, they are willing to double the budget. Of course, this is an option always if you're happy with the results and if you have a good cost per acquisition. But if you want to take it slower, a 20% increase could be a good start.
And I suppose there's a difference there between scaling PPC budget for something like Facebook, where you're actually asking Facebook to find a new audience, versus Google Ads, where you're targeting keywords, so that traffic's already there. So it's not like you're expecting new traffic to behave particularly differently to the traffic that you've been used to getting.
Exactly. Yeah, with Google Ads, it's much easier because you actually can take a look at the search impression share that you aren't covering. So, for example, if you know that a campaign is performing particularly well and you have a very high conversion rate on that campaign, and you look at the search impression share and you notice that you still have 20% of the market to cover, you can increase your budget accordingly to that.
Okay, cool. I've just remembered someone asked me to take off the overlay last time. There we go. So you can see the whole screen. You spotted something in their display ads when you were having a look, Anna. So here we've got the ads that they're running display, and it looks like they've been running this being around Black Friday and that kind of these seem to be remarketing ads, don't they, that are like text ads which are showing up on other publishers' sites. We can see a list of some of the publishers that each of the ads has been featured on, and there was a kind of lesson here for product descriptions on the websites. How are these ads being created? Because there's obviously millions of products on probably not millions, but probably tens of thousands of products on the Look Fantastic website, and they're clearly targeting each of these ads at a specific product or viewers of a specific product.
Yeah. Well, when you have a big website, a big e-commerce website with lots of products, the best practice would be to pull the ads dynamically. So the ads copy in this case is being pulled dynamically from the product page. So of course, it's very important to have a good product description on the product page, because that's what's going to be shown on the specific ads.
So if we go through to the product page, so we can see this ad, treat your skin to the CeraVe bestsellers duo, the brand's most coveted. And I think if we click through, we're actually going to go through to that product description here. I mean, this is, sometimes the people don't necessarily consider the first line of their description with any more importance than the rest. But we can see that if you're pulling the dynamic display ads, then that first line is essentially, it's ad copy, isn't it? It has to summarize the product really. Okay, cool. So Look Fantastic, one site that we're massive fans of. They're absolutely smashing it with SEO, absolutely smashing it with conversion optimization. What are you seeing on this page, Anna, that would give you a lot of confidence at driving paid traffic to, because you know it's going to convert?
Well, it has a good product picture because it has a plain background. Then you have the reviews from other clients, which is very good. It shows you that they aren't particularly 5 stars, so that's very credible. You have a good product description. You can read the full reviews at the bottom of the page. You have a button to start chat, so you're able to speak with someone right away if you have any questions. And there's also some information on the delivery. And yeah, I think it's very good because you have everything that you need for credibility.
So how important we talk a lot about product images from a conversion perspective, because when you land on the page, it's no good. I was on a site yesterday, for making a video comparing the product images of the exact same product on John Lewis versus another site. On the John Lewis site, £15 more. On the other site, product images were just dreadful, and there's just no way you would have purchased. But that's from a conversion perspective. But when you're running Google Shopping ads, you're going to be using these images not just on the website, but actually on, they're going to make up the ads. So you mentioned their plain background. Do you have any particular tips for what makes a good Google Shopping friendly product image?
Yeah, well, this is perfect because you have the product right in front. It isn't like laying on the side or anything odd. You have a plain background, and actually when you're creating a shopping campaign and you have to drag the product feed from the website, if you don't have this sort of features on the image, it might not even take the product feed and you might not be able to run the campaign. So these are just like basic tips that you need to have in mind if you're going to run shopping ads from an e-commerce, of course.
Cool. Okay, great. So look fantastic. We're big fans of that Exposure Ninja. We've got some questions. I just want to cover what's in the chat. So someone said, does a website closed page damage any SEO? Just closed ours for a few weeks. Personalized bottle labels.co.uk. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. From an SEO perspective, not a great idea. Yeah, it's essentially your website not going down for a few weeks, but obviously the sub pages on your site would effectively be going down. So it's not going to be positive for SEO at all. So I would, if you're, in fact, let's just have a look at the site and see what the reason is for that. If it's that you're closed, I would instead have some kind of banner or something across the top of the site rather than just taking the site down. That is, yeah, no, I wouldn't do this if I were you. I mean, it's not like any SEO damage is going to, last forever and it's going to, hold you back forever, but you're certainly going to lose short-term visibility and it'll take time to get that back. So yeah, the other thing I would look at is if you've got websites linking to sub pages on your site, like you've been doing some content marketing, you've been doing some PR, and other websites are linking to pages on your site. Well, if those pages are now 404ing, or if those links are now no longer working, you risk, if that site is checking their outbound links for user experience or whatever, they might take those links out of their content. So yeah, this isn't good. I would definitely reverse that. And I can see that someone submitted their site as well. Liesel said, is there anything we as clients can do to aid in PPC campaigns? So Liesel's actually an Exposure Ninja client. She says, or is there anything clients commonly do to slow down your work on PPC campaigns, or are PPC ads completely separate? Anna, this is your chance.
Well, actually, it's very simple because it might slow down the times if you have like a long time of response when we send things to approve. That's like basic. And also maybe to provide images for the ads. If you can provide us good images that we can use for PPC ads, it always works better than just generic images that we can pull from Shutterstock, or video content, or clear information of your brand's tone of voice and of your brand's identity, basically.
Yeah, it's certainly response rates are the biggest blockage, aren't they? It's sending over ad copy or ad campaign structure and not getting a response. But I know Liesel's very responsive, so I don't think that's going to be an issue for her. So, I mean, this is the Dolma site, isn't it? So get it up. So product imagery, what are you thinking here, Anna?
It's beautiful. Looks very good. Yeah. The product packaging looks very good too.
I mean, we've seen, we didn't look at it just now, but look fantastic. One of the things that they'll often do is add a free product, or they'll add a free sample or a free tester or something with, and then they'll mention that in the ad copy. So if you search for Estee Lauder, for example, their ad will say free gift worth X with each purchase or something like that. So is that the sort of thing that you can be kind of testing and building, split testing between 20% off and free gift with purchase and that type of thing?
Yeah, and I think that's a very good offer that will increase the click-through rate. So it's always good to have offers and to have clear call to actions on the ads. So yeah, this is very good.
It feels like offers is something, if we were talking about trends over the last maybe couple of years, it feels like voucher codes and offers in Google Shopping ads have been something that, like a couple of years ago, we wouldn't really talk about that much, whereas now it's one of the first conversations we'll have with people in very competitive spaces, or in times when they really need to bring that CPA down. Is that what you've noticed, or am I just making it up in my head, which is perfectly possible?
No, yeah. No, I also noticed that, and in fact, if you don't have any offer, or if you don't offer discount codes or anything like that, it's very difficult to stand out from your competitors, because they are all doing that, and it's like a competition for who's showing the higher discount. Of course, you have other factors that you can play with in the ads, like if you have a very strong brand identity and your brand is very big and well known, then you may not have to use those discount codes. It's more for maybe new businesses that are entering the market.
Yeah. Okay. Or people who are selling products that you can buy in multiple stores. Yeah, I think product photography is beautiful, isn't it? Really is. Stunning. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at Gymshark. You'll know Exposure Ninja, we're also big fans of Gymshark's digital marketing, particularly their use of influencers. Here we're looking at the ads that they're running on Facebook and Instagram. Anna, when you look through this type of ad, like what are the first things that come to mind? What are they doing well? What could they be improving?
Well, I really like the ad copy, because I think they are using lots of emojis, and the ad copy is very friendly. It's very different from what I would expect from their competitors like Nike or Adidas. So it seems like you are talking to a real person, not to a business. And that's very good for engagement. And always, of course, engagement is very good to increase the ads reach and the ads final performance. So yeah, I think the copy is very good. The images are also good.
On the subject of copy there, Anna, and you mentioned talking kind of personally, which I guess makes a lot of sense, because people are on social media for people, not for companies necessarily. Are there times when a more kind of generic and I guess corporate tone is more suitable, or are we consistently seeing that personal, friendly type ad copy, the sort of stuff that people would expect to see on their Instagram feeds, is always performing better?
Well, it also depends on the social media network that you are using. I would say that for Instagram and for Facebook, you can be more friendly and more casual. And for networks like LinkedIn, you need to be more formal. And also it would depend on the type of communication, because in ads, maybe you have to be more specific, so you can be a little bit more formal. And then on the organic post, you can be more playful and more casual.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, and obviously Gymshark, they're now at a stage where they're competing against brands like Nike and Adidas and big players, but they're much more niche, I guess, in a way that, well, you can see from the imagery. If a company is thinking about expansion, so if you were running a Gymshark 5 years ago, you could look at expansion in a number of different ways, couldn't you? You could look at, well, we probably want to start making tennis shoes and tennis equipment because the gym stuff's going well. Or you could look at just expanding into gym wear. From your perspective as an advertiser, which of those is easier to work with?
I think it would be easier to work with in expanding for gym wear, because if you want to expand to other sportswear, then you would have to really compete with the things that Nike or Adidas are doing, because they are more focused on a different type of sportswear, sports like the tennis shoes, like you mentioned. And yeah, it would be good to take advantage of that specific niche of the market that they have found and that they are working very well on it, which is gym wear.
And I
Yeah, so
suppose
I would stay on that track.
Oh, sorry, Anna.
No, I was going to say that I would stay on that track.
Okay, cool. And I suppose that with Facebook and Instagram, where you're building audiences essentially to target, that is the name of the game, isn't it? It's going to be much easier if you've spent your entire brand's life building a specific audience to run ads against that audience. Whereas just thinking about the challenge that someone like Nike would have running Facebook ads, they might have, 50 potential target audiences, mightn't they? All inside the follower group of Nike. So it could be much more difficult to run ads that are going to appeal. Like if you're going to try and run an ad like that to Nike's audience, well, they're not just going to be able to target it to their followers, whereas Gymshark would just be able to target that to their audience because their audience is all pretty much in that bucket, if you like.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I think that in the last few years, big brands like Nike or Adidas, they have expanded more to the streetwear. So you can see celebrities or influencers wearing their clothing in the street or as a casual outfit. So it's very good to find a niche that is very specific for people that want to work out.
Awesome. Okay, Liesel's asked another question, which is, what's the biggest difference between setting up ads or boosting organic posts? Does one generally outperform the other, or is one better in certain situations? What's your take on this, Anna?
I think they all work very well. They just are very suited for different purposes. So if you are boosting organic posts, of course, you also need to have a very strong social media strategy. And it's very good for interactions. It's very good to show credibility on your page because, of course, the user also has a journey. So if they are, if they see an ad of your brand on Instagram or on Facebook, they will probably go to your page. So it's good that they see organic posts with lots of comments, lots of likes, engagement. It's good for them to see that your followers are interacting with your content, and that's much more credible, and that brings trust to users. So in that case, organic posts are very good, and I would recommend 100% setting ads for e-commerce websites because you can pull the product feed from the website and then you can show all the specific products. And of course, you can also use that for remarketing. So I would say that boosting organic posts has a much more branding goal, and then setting specific ads has a much more performance goal because you can focus 100% on the conversions and on a specific action that you want the user to do.
Cool. Comprehensive. Fantastic answer. Great. Okay, let's look at our next site, which is actually the reason we wanted to look at this one is because for me, this is like how to build a brand in a specific place. Like, so just to give a bit of context, this is a site run by this guy called Gavin, and it's called The Advisory, and it's advice for house sellers. And the business model is that people who are interested in selling their house will buy all sorts of things, right? So he has kind of he has affiliate relationships with different businesses that will be interested in buying those leads, and he sends traffic over to them and, you know, takes commission and things like that. So it's a really interesting site because this is a super competitive space. If you want to sell your house fast, or you want advice on selling your house fast, there are companies that are potentially going to make 50,000, 100,000 pounds out of getting you on their books. So it's really competitive and very cutthroat. But Gavin has built this incredible brand with incredible visibility relatively quickly, by doing a really awesome job of sharing information and through his content strategy. So we're going to have a look. I think he's running a Facebook ad, you mentioned, Anna, but we're going to have a look at from a organic perspective. And also, I just wanted to share like how he builds credibility across the site, because I actually think it's completely brilliant. So first thing, straight away above the fold, you've got personality. This is something that you'll notice if you search for any of these terms. Almost all of the sites lack any personality at all. The whole space is completely devoid of personality because, I don't know, people are scared of putting their face to it or something. He's straight up there immediately. Also talking about the benefits for you, the fact that he's not got anything to sell kind of really helps out. Got this credibility bar across the top here as well. Also got a few little CTAs across the site. So we've got Propcast, which is this, how hot is your space? There's also other CTAs as well. Then it's just content. This is just it's like a perfect knowledge base, really. We've got kind of category pages here, which take us through, and then we've got these kind of subtopics. It's absolutely superb. We've got all of these free guides about every imaginable possible topic. And then there's this check your market call to action as well. You've also got, I need to sell my house fast. So this is one of the areas that he's monetizing. So if you go on some of these, for example, then what you will get is little links like this, where he's then capturing your details. Right, he's obviously selling against the fear in the space, which is great. He's then capturing your details, and then he's able to have affiliate relationships with the companies that he likes best. I would spend some time reading the copy on this page. In fact, I'm going to link to it in the channels for you, so that you can have a look through. As Dale says, it's the Martin Lewis money saving expert approach. Absolutely. Martin Lewis, one of the biggest kind of financial influences you could imagine, and one of the biggest financial affiliates as well. Let's not imagine for a second that Martin Lewis isn't making a huge amount of money, or has. I think he's sold Money Saving Expert now, but from this free advice. So I just wanted to share this because whatever we're doing, whatever we're selling, this sort of site in 2020 going into 21, we're only seeing this type of thing work better than ever. As people are looking for information, they're looking for kind of reputable businesses to work with. This sort of thing is absolutely killing it. So worth spending a bit of time. We should probably do a video on the content strategy on this site. I think that would be very good. And then here you've got basically, it's like a rated people type thing where you go through and you find your perfect match, and then there's affiliate relationships on the back of that. So superb. Okay, Anna, should we have a look at their Facebook ads quickly? So is it this one here?
Yeah.
Who is it? It's the advisory, isn't it? Let's see what they're doing. Go. So only 400 likes. Not doing much on Facebook. I only ran an ad very long time ago, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so it doesn't look like, I mean, if this ad only launched for a small amount of time and didn't really do anything, it doesn't look like it's been particularly effective. If you were promoting the advisory, what sort of strategies? I guess the first question is, would Facebook be a platform that you're using? And then if so, what would you change about this ad? What would you do instead?
Yeah, I would recommend using Facebook because you can also target the people that already visited the website. So remarketing would be very good. A lookalike audience, targeting users that look like your target audience that already visited your website or that somehow interacted with your website would be also very, very good for this type of business. And I would 100% recommend to test different ad copy and to test different images. It seems like the ad doesn't even have a button. It just has the link on the copy, which isn't very good because Facebook offers you the option to add a button to go to the page and learn more or keep reading. So it's good to take advantage of those possibilities.
The ad image is very interesting, isn't it? Because I guess independent financial advisor is kind of what he is or what people are into at that time. But at the same time, this picture is not what people are buying. Like people don't, no one is going to see an independent financial advisor image on their site and be like, oh, wow, can I please, I'm desperate to, I don't want to see all my friends and their beautiful pets. I want to click on this independent financial advisor. Like people are going to be like, what's the call to action here? What do we want people to think? We probably want people to think, if you're going to be selling your house, get the most possible because that's going to get you into a bigger house, or something like that. So we need to be selling the benefit, don't we? Not just this, which is dreadful. If we're honest.
Totally, yeah. It's like in the CTA, which is very important in an ad. It's one of the most important parts, and also the image is very complex. It's not clear. So yeah, I would recommend testing different images, testing videos, different ad copies.
Okay, cool. Right. So we're now going to have a look at some of the sites that are being submitted. So we've got Bethlehem, who has submitted lesson plans for millions. Let's have a look at this, and we're going to analyze it from a conversion perspective, from an SEO perspective. I mean, actually, hold on. Whoa. Stop, Google. So before we do anything, Bethlehem, looks like we're not necessarily got the best meta descriptions here. So when we put the site into search, or the site shows up in search, we're getting this, which isn't, your meta description is the bit of text that you're asking Google to use when the site shows up in search. So if we compare this to, for example, if we search for the advisory, who I'm hoping and expecting would have absolutely nailed meta descriptions. Here you go. As seen in the Sunday Times, award-winning house selling advice, tools, insider tips, tools, reviews, and tips. Discover insider secrets estate agents don't want you to know. I mean, you couldn't really get any more compelling than that, could you? It's fantastic ad copy. Whereas here we have, like, so we got to think about, once the site gets ranking, how are we going to get people to click on the page? They're going to click on the page primarily because they're reading a meta description, which is very compelling to them. If they don't see a meta description, which is compelling to them, we risk losing that click, and Google's going to see that as a, reduced interest in that page. So it's very important to make sure that is right. Okay. So Anna, like, first impressions, if we were going to be driving PPC traffic to this site, what would be some of the conversion rate optimization, usability things that you might be feeding back in the strategy doc?
So to begin with, I think that having the phone number on the top right corner is a very good thing to do because it's quite visible. I don't know if it's clickable. Can you click on it? And no,
doesn't
right?
Look to be, although I think Safari might be figuring it out. I'm not too sure. No, it doesn't look so.
Yeah, I would recommend to make it clickable. And also you have the CTA button right above the fold. Get your free lesson plan today. So I think the CTA and the phone number are good if you're looking at creating conversions and to provide users a quick and easy way to contact you. But the first impression would be that, that contact form is odd, right?
Yeah, that contact form is dreadful. So what we need to think about here, I'm not sure what's going on here, but imagine that the users just come onto this site, ESL lesson plans for online English teachers. Okay, by the time I've read this, I know a little bit about what the business does. I still don't know if it's right for me. Get your free lesson plan today. I'm doing this because I'm hoping that that's going to tell me that this is right for me or not, right? So at the moment, when I'm clicking on that, I'm still not 100% convinced. So what I need to see is, here's what you're going to get. Here's who this is for. Here's some testimonials or some sort of credibility from people like you who've requested this thing, that they're glad that they did, right? And at the moment, we've got nothing here. There's no way I would put my details in here. It's literally a black hole, and it's not good. So yeah, I'd think about the user experience, think about the objections people have.
I think that, yes, during the user journey, you need to show clear indications of what's happening on each one of the steps, and you have absolutely no indication in here. So you need a short description of what's happening. Why do I have to enter my details? What's going to happen next? Am I going to be contacted by someone during the next 24 hours? Am I getting to talk to somebody?
Yeah, that's a very good point. So they need to know what's going to happen, and then what you also said is they need a clear kind of description of what's happening at each stage. The other thing I would think about, and actually there's a site Dale's on. Dale, what is the what's that site that we were looking at? There's a site that we reviewed this week. I'll see if I can figure it out. It's something like Fix Bad Credit or something. Credit Fix maybe. Oh, I only got to remember it. Right, check this out as a kind of alternative call to action. It's really interesting. We don't have the analytics for this. This isn't a client of ours, but their approach is really interesting, and it's not something that you tend to see too much. So credit, they're really competitive, super competitive, as you can tell from this beautiful, well-made site. The call to action, they haven't given any kind of context at all. You don't really know what's going to happen, but what they've done is they've just it's like almost like a quiz with very easy to follow and painless questions. So for example, the equivalent here, which statement best describes you? Well, this might be something to lead with, right? Because if you could ask people some questions, it gets them invested in the process, because what's going to happen here, right? You're going to click a few of these, and you're like, oh yeah, this seems fun. It's nice and easy. I'm not having to type in anything at all. And yeah, there we go. And there we go. Next question. And then of course, what's going to happen? The question at the end, the thing at the end is going to be lead capture. But look, by that time, they've kind of, firstly, you've invested the time in filling out the form. So it's like a sunk cost thing, isn't it? You're like, well, I don't want to give them my email and my phone number address. In my email address, my phone number. At the same time, I've just spent a couple of minutes thinking about those questions. So I feel like, that's weighing against me. But also the fact that this is positioned as, and they're using your data back against you to say, right, this is perfect for you, makes it feel way more personalized. So I might think about something like that. Like, you've got two questions here kind of up front, and it's basically, which of these is you? I'm an independent teacher, or I work for an online language school, which level? And then they put the level in, and then it's like, great, we can help you, right? Even if you don't have the ability to fill in all the dynamic stuff here, you could still say, great, based on your answers, we can help you. We've got a great lesson plan that would be perfect for you. Fill in your details here, and we'll send it over through email within 24 hours. No salesperson will call, or something like that. So I think about how you kind of flow this, really.
Absolutely, yeah. It would be very easy to adapt this structure to the one that you showed on Credit Fix. So yeah.
Yeah, this site is
much more interactive.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wonder if we'll see calls to action evolve as just the basic email capture thing starts to become kind of old hat, and more sites are just using that. Then it's all of a sudden it's no longer a novelty. If every site you click on shows that, then I wonder if we'll start to see more interactive and kind of value adding calls to action, a bit like this. Like, it actually feels like you've gone the first part through a consultation. So kind of interesting. Interesting. Okay. So anyway, back to this site. So yeah, I mean, I'm just going to say it from a layout and look and feel perspective, I think there are things to work on. So I'm not convinced by the logo at all. I think it makes it look a little bit old school. I'd get a professional designer to have a look at this. You know, people are going to be judging, particularly anything that's information or they're accessing something online. They're going to be judging the quality of that course on the look of the site. So if the quality of the course is world class, the site needs to look world class. We'll always put up 2 sites, a before and after of a website when we do a seminar, and I'll say who would trust the first website, who has a better product, a website A or website B, and everyone says website B. We'd say who has better customer service, A and B. All right, she says, can you refresh it? The header should be visible. Yeah. Oh no. It's one of those awful situations where you're being analyzed in public and it's not working. Right, so I'm guessing that there's some kind of header maybe behind here. But yeah, even the little things like this, like they don't match those. There's not using a consistent tone of voice. The fonts aren't.
Yeah. Also, if you scroll a little bit up, I'm not sure what's happening with the slider. The images are very small, so I can't really understand. And there's also text above each one of the images, so it's not clear. An image should be something that makes the purpose of your business easier to understand. So it's not working that way.
Yeah, very, very good point. Yeah, okay. So Liesel says you could use videos from lessons showing lesson plans in use, parent approved, of course. Banging idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and to be fair, these videos might have some of that stuff in, but we're not going to look at it because it's going to mess up with all the tech and stuff and it'll never work. Okay. Right, then we've got these, which I'm guessing are probably would maybe be the target pages if we were driving some ads to the site. So these are going to be lesson plans for that particular level. So all right. So if you were driving, let's talk about landing pages from a PPC campaign, because when you're driving, say, Google ad traffic to a website, Anna, how do you? Let's say you're driving traffic to a site like this. How do you balance? When do you decide whether to drive traffic to the home page and let visitors find their own place, versus when you let people go to a product page? So if I'm looking for ESL, I think is it ESL lesson plans or something, and there was an ad targeting ESL lesson plans, where would you be? What would be the perfect page to send someone to if they're searching for something like that?
Well, I would send them to the very specific page that matches the keyword. The ideal process would be that the keyword would be as relevant as possible with the ad, and then the ad would be as relevant as possible with the text and with the content that's on the landing page. So we want to find a specific landing page that matches that query. And yeah, my first thoughts about this landing page is that they don't have like a header where they explain what's happening. There's a lot of content. It's all like in the same level of visibility. There's nothing that clearly pops up. And you have the CTA, of course, so you have the get your free lesson plan today. That's good. I would keep that and maybe increase the size of the button too, and also change a little bit the font to really make it stand out. Then you have the phone number, which is also good, but it's like it would be better if it would be clickable. Here you have the different lessons. I think it's good to have the price too, but I think that it would be a case to really improve the design to make it easier to stand out the points that you want to showcase on the page. It's not clear because there's a lot of content in the same level.
So Okay, so what we're looking at here is, I guess this would be the page that you might drive people to if they were searching for a 1.1, a specific this level of lesson plan. So if they were looking for level 1 students, then you might drive them to this page. So then we've got a header which works for cold traffic, which would be something like ESL level 1 ESL lesson plan. So bam, straight away they've got it. And then we might have a bit of description, maybe a bit more credibility as well, testimonials or reviews or something along those lines. We've got the free lesson plan CTA, but then we've also got the ability to purchase. So what do you think about having those two CTAs on the same page? And then a kind of sub question is, we've got so many different products on this page.
Yeah.
Is this a first visit sale, or is this a first visit we want to generate the lead? Because if we can get someone into the habit of buying these, there's loads. So average order value over a lifetime should be pretty high.
Mm-hmm. So from a PPC perspective, I would create separate campaigns for the lesson plans, and then different for the specific lessons that you can purchase on the website. And I would also create different landing pages for each one of the campaigns. So that way it would be clearer, the final offer, the thing that we are selling. So yeah.
And I don't know if you do already, but it might be worth, I mean, there's so many individuals here. I wonder if there's a 5 lesson plans. I wonder if there's like a buy everything thing that would be worth testing as the main CTA. So you could have like a, pick individual lessons, get a free trial, and then buy everything. And maybe those are the options that you give people, and they can choose based on how ready they are to purchase. And then that would also give you some useful feedback. You can measure on the number of clicks that go through each of those, and that would tell you the stage of, or the level of commercial intent that people have when they're coming through those ads.
Yeah, I would also add customer reviews, some kind of star ranking like Trustpilot or FIFO.
One of the questions we often get, Anna, is Trustpilot, FIFO, Google reviews. In your opinion, in your experience, are any of these preferable to any of the others, or is it just a case of just have some star ratings that people can see and that they can see are legit?
Well, I think that the three of them are good to have. It's better than not having any. But I would always choose between Trustpilot or Google reviews. I think I would lean a little bit more for Google reviews because it's backed up by Google, and anything that has like the Google approval seems more credible. Trustpilot is very good from a visibility side because you see the badge of Trustpilot on a website and you immediately recognize it. Yeah, that would be my analysis on that.
Yeah, well, the one thing that we've learned is if you're going to back anyone, back Google. Right, so here's Dale's submitted a site, which I think I know what's going to happen here. This is, should I use a carousel? And I think, right, yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is a kind of wider lesson about the use of carousels and sliders. When I first got into building websites back in, must have been 2011, everybody wanted a carousel because they were the new thing, and you thought meticulously about the image that was going to be displayed on each slide of the carousel, and we imagined people just kind of sitting back, grabbing a drink, and just watching your carousel in order. And then we all kind of realized once we looked at the data that actually people were just skipping through the whole thing and that it was a complete waste of time. So yeah, this is a much more eloquently put version of that. Love it. Okay, great. Well, if you've got any PPC questions or if you've got a site that you want us to analyze, then you can drop it in the chat. Otherwise, we are going to wrap up for this year, and I'm going to go and eat a load of mince pies, if I'm honest. Let us know if you've got a site that you want us to view in the chat. Lol, Dolma noted. Okay, have you got... Oh, you don't, do you, Liesel? That's fine. Oh, you do. Oh, it does change. It does change. Yours is so slow that I've never actually considered it to be a slider. Because by the time it's changed, you've already scrolled down. No one's going to sit and watch above the fold like that. But yeah, if you're expecting people to click on that because they're ready for the bath and body, then right. We're going to wrap up. Thank you, everyone, for joining us throughout this year. We started these because of lockdown, and we wanted to give a little slice of positivity and a bit of free help. Oh, Paul's jumped in with garden cottages. Right, we're gonna rinse your site, and then we're gonna break. Gardencottages.co.uk. Here we go. You offer holiday cottages in Scotland. Well, there's your target keywords. Okay. Right. Okay, first thing, need some visible indication that there's content below the fold. So what I'd probably do is just shrink that up a little bit, reduce some of the white space, just have some of that text peeking out above the fold to make sure you're getting people scroll down. Some of the spacing on this doesn't look quite right. I'd maybe get a designer to have a look. You probably just want a little bit more padding either side of those words. Anna, what are you saying about this above the fold?
Well, yeah, I think that it needs to be analyzed a little bit more by a designer. I think that the text that's over the image, it has an odd font because the font should be clearer to be easier to understand, to be more readable. Mm-hmm. And also the image and the background is very complex to have like a text above it. So it's not so easy to understand the text. Then you have the check availability button at the top, which is good because it's pretty well highlighted, takes you to booking. So this from a PPC side would be difficult to track because we can track the clicks on the button, but I don't know if we can track the actual...
No, booking's going to give you almost nothing. Once they clicked on it, they're gone, aren't they? You've got no idea what's happened to them. Yeah. So, yeah, okay. Anna's being very kind. You need a designer on this, Paul. It needs a redesign. You're completely right, Anna. This is a little bit Comic Sans, isn't it? It's like type in like luxury font, and then you end up with that. So, yeah. Yeah, good shout on the picture as well. It's very complex, isn't it? It looks like you're at the back of the holiday cottage. That's not the thing that people are going for. They're going for the front. They're going for the view or something. This looks like, where you'd expect to see the staff smoking out the back. So, okay. If you were running PPC to, it's difficult, isn't it? If you're going to run a PPC campaign, oh, there we go. That's your freaking above the fold, folks. That's what people are going for. Look at that. Oh man,
yeah, that's much better.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I think the other thing that you need to think about is there's a world of difference between professional photography and slightly professional photography, and it makes a massive difference. We've had client. I'm trying to think of the one. We had a guest house up in Scotland years and years ago, and they always had these dreadful photos, and we didn't think that they were dreadful. We just thought the place was dreadful. And then they got proper photos, and we're like, my gosh, this place is unreal. So it really does make a difference. And things like this looks like a Rightmove picture from 2012 before people had really good digital cameras. So I would get some proper professional images done. They will be worth their weight in gold. And a professional photographer probably wouldn't take a picture from an angle like that because it makes the room look smaller rather than bigger. So yeah, I mean, some of these are better than others, but in general, the resolution on the images isn't where it needs to be. So I definitely think about those. Anna, driving to PPC. So, I'm not sure what she's doing with that. when you've got a site like this, right, you've got pro shots on the cottage pages, get them on your homepage, Paul. They're no good on there, are they? They're not going to get to your cottage pages if they don't get through the homepage. When you're driving traffic to a site like this from PPC and the availability and the booking is all handled through booking.com, how do you do it? Is there a way to do this in a kind of trackable and measurable and sane way?
It's very difficult. I would recommend creating a specific landing page, explaining clearly all the different options, showing photos of the different options like the one that you have there, and then adding a contact form maybe to check the availability. I know that it won't be as easier for users as it would be to go to booking, but it would give you the opportunity to track everything. So from a PPC perspective, that would be much better. And of course, the ideal thing would be to have your own tracking, your own system to book on your website.
It's a great shout. There's I can't remember who it is, but yeah, inserting a contact form between this and the other thing is also a good idea, because if someone clicks on that and they don't have availability, or they don't end up completing the checkout, you can't follow up with them. There's nothing that you can do. You could run some remarketing, but it'll be much better to have their contact details, so you could put them in an email list or whatever. You could invite them to like your social pages or whatever, and then you're just constantly barraging them with beautiful images and stuff like that. You're right. You've got professional photos on these cottage pages, but hiding them on the cottage pages is like your first Tinder pic being like this dreadful, awful photo, and then the rest of them being like great. Well, you're not going to get the swipe because you've put your worst foot forward. So yeah, putting a CTA form between that will be a really good idea, and it allows you to track, as Anna says. Okay, Paul, the other thing I do, request a website marketing review from Exposure Ninja if you haven't already. If you've requested a website marketing review this year, then thank you. We've done thousands. We actually have about 450 in the backlog, so we're working through them as quickly as you can. So if you requested a review, great. If you're still waiting for it, then yeah, please continue to do that. It'll be worth it when it comes through. Dale says, add an ebook of 25 things to do in Perthshire. Yes, love that. Yeah, I mean, content strategy is another huge topic, isn't it? This is exactly the right sort of thing to do-ish. Yeah, anyway, you're targeting phrases of local attractions, and you're building massive content around them so you can get ranking for those terms. Anyway, okay, we need to wrap up. Thank you, Anna, so much for joining us in this final session of the year. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Tim.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us and hanging out on these Friday sessions. It's been great. Have a fantastic Christmas. Take some time to chill out. Take some time to congratulate yourself for the fact that you've just got through this ridiculous year. And we will see you all in 2020.
See ya. Happy holidays.